Hello, my name is Bianca from the Ukrainian Actors and Actresses Fandom. Today at the Magic behind Ukrainian Actors, we don't have a Ukrainian actor here, but an American. But he's working, or he used to work with AMO Pictures in the States. Welcome, Tyler Crosby.
Nice to meet you, Bianca. Yes, I'm Tyler Crosby. Not a Ukrainian actor, but a big fan of the Ukrainian actors and the Ukrainian people, as I just completed a project with AMO Pictures and just had a wonderful experience with the entire crew. But I've been an actor my entire life, and only recently in the past couple of years been elevated and a lot busier because of verticals. And it would be nice potentially to play a romantic lead, but right now I'm a vertical villain all the way, and having a lot of fun doing that. That's me. That's me.
That's great. And it's great to see that, AMO Pictures is starting to shoot all over the world now. Not all over, but in UK, in America, so USA and Canada, and in Australia, they will shoot too.
Yes,
and
amazing.
If you have the opportunity to act for them, I'm really happy for you, because I don't know if you already watched some Ukrainian verticals.
I've seen clips of what they've done and been very impressed as well. Yes.
And that's actually one of the questions which I have too, but we will come to this a little bit later. You said you're acting your whole life. I know you started pretty early acting in theaters in school and so on.
Right.
So
that's right. I think my first...
I have to mention, sorry for the interruption, because actually I didn't knew something about you before, but you just recently had an interview with Kathy from Short Film Edits. And she said, hey, he shot a vertical for AMO Pictures. Here we go. And that's why I know a few things about you, because I for sure watched this interview.
Oh, cool.
But go on.
Thank you. I mean, I'm thrilled if anybody watches a vertical or an interview of mine at any time. This is wonderful. So thank you. But yes, I don't know what I was about to begin talking about, but I would like to talk about my experience with the Ukrainian crew that I've worked with.
No, we were talking about that you started acting in school.
Oh, that's right. That's right. About me. Let's talk about me. That's what I want. Yeah. Well, I began acting in theater at in 3rd or 4th grade. I was cast as the evil king in the stage play of Robin Hood. So there's like the fighting with the wooden swords, and then I got stuck with the sword and I died, and I made it so dramatic. And the audience went nuts. All 40 parents in the audience really loved it. And I knew at that moment, I was so excited. I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing that. And I hear actors tell stories like that, and I'm like, oh, that's cute and kind of annoying. But sorry, that's what happened. I got by the bug. And I've wanted to do it ever since. Throughout school, it was always theater. After school drama club or anything like that. My high school, I was very lucky to go to a high school that had a built-in playhouse and a really proficient acting program. So it felt a little bit more collegiate like that. And then I went to Princeton University, was very lucky to get in with all these impressive individuals. But my angle on getting into the school was the fact that I'm an actor, that I don't know calculus very well, but I can do this and I can entertain you. I led a lot of theater projects for them as well. And then when I came to LA, and I tell this, I've said this in multiple interviews, but it's funny, I spent my entire 20s getting in my own way. So working in restaurants here in Los Angeles, sort of paying my dues as an actor is supposed to do. But if you're not pursuing and auditioning and spending the money for the headshots and believing in yourself, then you're having a restaurant job to have the flexibility to pursue acting. Without acting, now you're just hanging out till 2 a.m. every night. So I sort of revamped my lifestyle and my ideas on how this industry was going to look for me in the past 2 years. And then verticals came on at the exact time. And here I am. It's working now. I couldn't be happier, because I'm playing pretend with my friends all the time now, and it's a lot of fun.
That's great. How often do you have to make new headshots?
Well, if you like yours, if you really like them, then keep them for like 3 or 4 years, I'd say.
Okay.
Currently mine are working, but this is what I think is that my first ever headshots were, you know, shot by a buddy of mine with a camera. And I know many talented photographers, but if they don't have the studio and the lights that look ever just with the angle of your head ever just so to be competitive in the professional market, they're not headshot photographers. So you're going to pay about $500 to $800 to get, you know, 4 or 5 looks of what you should be cast as. Now, I didn't know that I was a vertical villain until they told me I was. And so now when I got my most recent headshots, there are a lot of suits and a lot of smoldering and a lot of, you know, sneaky behavior looking things going on. And then of course I also want to be a cowboy. So I got a cowboy headshot too. And pretty soon I say another year and I'll get new headshots, because by then I'll know exactly what type of ascot they want me to wear and what type of villain I really am, you know? So yeah, it's all, you gotta listen to the feedback.
That's correct. And I mean, isn't it a little bit hard always to get booked as a villain?
Yes, it was fun at first because I was thinking, oh man, this is great because they're trusting me with this difficult job. You know, you have to emote even a little bit more. You have to be more dramatic. And I've done 8 verticals now, and I believe 5 or 6 of those have been villain leads, the main heavy or the main heel, as we would call it. And I could use a little break, Bianca. I would like to say something nice to a woman at one point. I would like to be sweet and tender. I'm capable of that. And but one thing that's kind of cool about being a villain is that I think one of my superpowers on set is that I'm a really good time. And I'm going to try my best to make everybody around me as comfortable as possible. And I want to be invited back to work with this production company again, because that's kind of how this works, is that we like working with each other. We want to do it again. So I'm consistently getting the comment that, you know, man, you're a really nice guy. So it's so crazy that you do this. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, what do you think? Like, nobody's going to hire an actor who's a real life villain. So anyway, I'm honored that I get the opportunity to play these bad guys all the time. And I'll take the opportunities to play the good guys when they come. But at the same time, I know that I'm not going to have as much fun saying those lines as the ones that I have to say now. So I'm happy. I'm happy with my lane.
Yeah, and I mean, to play a villain is, I guess, a little bit more difficult than to play the nice guy, because you have to be kind of explosive. You have to be threatened and so on. And I like it a lot if someone is sometimes playing a character where they have to go out of the comfort zone, because it shows what this actor is able to do. Yes.
That's a wonderful comment, because I've had to say a lot of lines that I don't morally agree with. And I don't like these characters that I play. There's not a lot of common ground to be found. So when you are playing an evil guy doing evil things, it's best to fully send it, really be a caricature of this, really truly be evil, because then the audience knows that you are acting. You're not giving a half-assed performance and saying evil lines. You're really invested. At least that's what I think, to prove to the audience that what you're witnessing is an actor, you know, really performing, as opposed to, hey, look at this asshole they picked up off the street and watch him do his asshole things. Yeah.
Let's say it this way. I interviewed a few actors from Ukraine, like and they playing actually mostly the villain.
Right.
But they are such kind and lovable people.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And some people, I see it in the comments, for example, if I'm posting something, my follower or the people who see those pictures or reels, they don't name the actors by their name.
Right.
They name them by their character name.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't see the difference between, hey, this is just a role.
Right.
And this is a private person, you know?
Right.
And I think if I watch a vertical or a movie, no matter what kind of, and there's a person who I start to hate in this movie, it's actually something positive.
That's a high compliment. Exactly. Yes.
For example, in this project which you shot with AMO Pictures and The Deadly Trap for My Cheating Husband,
Yes.
your co-star, what is her name? Let me check real quick.
Rebecca Berg, probably.
Yeah, I guess so. Who played the villainess?
Yes.
Who played the villainess? Oh, I hated her.
Yes.
She did a good job. And,
she did a great job, and I adore her. I have so much respect for Rebecca, and she has, like me, made a little career out of playing these villains, and she's undeniably magnetic, and so being paired up with her made my job so much easier and made it so fun, because she was being so evil and I'm being so evil, and her character in this one
she was more evil than you.
Even more evil than me, and she's calling the shots.
She manipulated you.
Yes, she's and not only was my guy evil, but he was also pretty dumb, which is fun. Yeah. And I'm just being directed and told what to do by Isabella, played by Becca Berg, and she was legendarily mean. She knows how to do all of the things, but she in real life is incredibly sweet, incredibly clever,
it's mostly
and
like
funny.
that.
It's always like that. So yes.
But Courtney played a villainess as well in one vertical.
Sure. Yes.
And
yes.
she did a great job in it. But to see her now in as a good person, it was great to see as well. And I mean, I watched today Stillway Cowboys, because I had a long time problems to get into this vertical. I always started and said, oh, no.
Sure.
And then today I said, okay, we have this interview, watch it. And as more I got, as longer this vertical went, I said, okay, this is good.
Yeah,
I like that. And you are, I wouldn't say you being the villain, because you started so nice in this movie.
Yes, yes.
And then you switched to become a little bit more mean. And I mean, this vertical is out for a while now, so we can maybe spoil it. You being the best friend of the lead actor, and you wanted that your sister getting together or get married with your best friend, but not because you love them both. Right. You wanted it because you thought you're losing your land.
Yep. Thought I was losing the land. Yes, and it was. You know, Stillwell Cowboys by Candy Jar and by Inkit Media, they're known for doing very high quality projects, and this was more of like a romance, like a Hallmark Channel movie. In America, we have Hallmark. It was sort of like that, so it was an amazing opportunity. Also, the script really read as a true, you know, American Hallmark style movie, and I got to put on my accent too. I got to put on my little Southern accent.
Yeah. Did you know that Candy Jar is a German company?
Oh, you know what? That was said on my last set, that somebody said that was actually German, and now I do know that. Yeah, cool. Yes.
But I remember one scene. Your look. Oh my God. While you talked to what was his role name? I forgot.
Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan.
Yeah.
And you told him, hey, you have to get back with my sister. You have to get married. And he said, why? And you told him, hey, I want to keep the land. And because you bought it, and so it stay in the family. And he said, sorry for my language, guys. Stay the fuck away out of my love life. Yep. And then he walked away, and you turned around and looked at him. Holy crap, that's you.
Yeah,
you were pissed.
I was pissed, and I remember that shot because it's funny that I actually suggested. I believe this is how it went down, but we were face to face in a barn, and then I knew that they were going to be tight, looking right at his face here. So they didn't tell me to do it, but I knew that he was going to bump my shoulder and go back. And I said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn and I'm going to catch camera right here, and they're going to see how mad I am about this, because Clay Cartwright is, you know, he's just the buddy. He's just the friend. He's a ranch hand. Yeah, he is. He's number 4 on the call sheet. He's an important character, but you know, we need to see that this, you know, finding your way in love and in life has consequences for everybody around you if that's the case. So I thought it was a really nice thing for them to include that,
and how the
Ethan
story
can go
ends.
chase who he wants to, but my livelihood is at stake. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was the lighting or if it's for real. If you have a beard, does it turn a little bit red?
Yes, I call myself undercover ginger, because it's worked in. Now, my father is a redhead, and I have a little sister who is a full redhead as well. My mother is brunette, and I am generally mostly blonde, dirty blonde. But you'll see it in the beard if the beard gets long.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm undercover. I have those secret Irish genes.
I wasn't sure if it was made for the movie or if it's for real that you are a redhead.
Yes, yes. If the beard gets longer, it'll happen. Anyway, stay tuned for more red bearded verticals in the future.
No, that's funny. No, but I like this vertical a lot, and I can't believe that I always pushed it away for so many months.
Yeah, it received a lot of attention still. Well, now it moves at a slower pace is one thing. You really want to be curled up with a blanket and a mug or something to take that, because it
was a great story. But to get back to the deadly trap for my cheating husband,
a deadly trap for the cheating husband.
How was it, or how it's happened that you got in contact with AMO Pictures?
Here's how. I did a project for Pocket FM, and the creative director for that project, and creative director can have a few different meanings, but in this sense, it was sort of, making sure that the director and the director of photography were going to serve the image that the client had in mind for, and that comes down to costumes and the vibe and feeling of the scene.
Yeah.
Her name was Anastasia, and
I know her.
Okay, she was so wonderful on that set, and she asked me, hey, I would love to work with you in the future, and we have these Ukrainian crews. Would you like to be a part of that? I said, I want to be a part of anything, and of course I want to work with you again. However that's going to happen. Now, she never reached out to me, but 2 months later, I'm cast on this project. I'm noticing some Ukrainian looking names that are the producers emailing me. But shoot, there's multicultural everybody in all of these productions. So I show up to the fitting. We're gonna make sure the clothes fit right, and it's all 4 of the main characters. And we come in, and it's our 2 wardrobe ladies, Inga and Elvira, and they were flitting about and speaking only in Ukrainian. And then the makeup lady, Polina, she came in only Ukrainian, and we're sort of looking around. I can't understand anything, but I'm like, I see what's happening. I think this is. I was like, what? I wonder if Anastasia came through. And now I'm on a Ukrainian, and then guess who walks through the door? Is her. Anastasia walks right there. Yeah, I gave her a big hug.
Yeah, we are talking about Anastasia Filanenko.
Yes, yes, that is her last name. Yes.
By the way, her daughter just shot her first vertical.
Oh wow! I follow her on Instagram.
It's not released yet, but a few weeks ago she shot her first vertical. So her daughter is a part of our fandom as well.
Already a movie star. That's wonderful. Well, I mean, she deserves it. She worked so hard on behalf of us and getting people in. She is a master networker, and that's what I realized is that the more you do on these sets and the more people you become friends with, if they are very good at networking amongst production companies and casting, you're automatically folded into that. It is so nice to be a part of the contact list of these people.
Yeah, and I can tell you, AMO Pictures, for who don't know, that AMO Picture is the biggest production company in Ukraine for all the Ukrainian verticals, and they started to shoot now worldwide. And they are not just that; they have their own actors agency.
Right.
They are having projects on YouTube like Dramatize Me, Lovebuster TV, Be Kind, where they show all those so-called mini movies, which have the length of 10 to 20 minutes. So they are really, really huge. There are some Ukrainian production companies as well, but I guess I can count those movies on one hand.
Sure.
The rest are all from AMO Pictures.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, and I didn't even know that history or that context about them in Ukraine. But one thing was clear is that they didn't miss a beat. And what I mean by that is that, look, I'm in Los Angeles, I'm in Hollywood. The majority of the production companies here know exactly what they're doing. They don't have to learn the type of ways or the type of shots, or we have film schools. This entire town is dedicated to this. Earlier in my vertical career, I had, encountered some production companies that were a little bit more early in their careers. And, they might fight in front of themselves, in front of the kids, so to speak, in front of the actors, or you could just tell that they were a little under the gun from what they were expected to do by the company hiring them. This Ukrainian crew, our director of photography, everybody on set, it was as if it was their 200th project together. They were so, and it's funny, like to compare American versus Ukrainian production crews, I'm almost thinking it's quite the compliment to both, that there's very little difference at all. I mean, because you'd expect these Los Angeles American production companies to be very good at this, but the Ukrainians brought some things that I never have even seen before. And most notably, the stunts. Okay, they were excited and so ready for these stunts. The very first day we shot was a 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. shoot. So you're going to start with an overnight for your actors. We need our beauty sleep, so we got it afterwards. But we show up to it.
You guys are beauty enough, so
yeah. We don't. You stop sleeping. You're too pretty. But we show up to a downtown LA building, and on the top of the building, they've already rigged it up where they have these stacks of cardboard boxes, either 3 high or 5 high, based on how high their stuntman is going to jump off. So we had a stuntman jumping off a structure on the top of this roof. It was 2.5 stories by itself, and he didn't care. He's falling back, and I'm like, what? I said, we're just shooting a vertical. Like, this is really major motion picture type stuff. But for the Ukrainians, it was like, of course, well, we're not going to fake this stunt. We're not going to CGI this. We're going to send him off the building. Very impressive.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not sure about the crew, which is in the States and shooting there, but I know from Ukraine, these crews, many of them coming or have experiences in cinema. How do you say it? They shot cinema movies, and
yes.
They have, it must be cinematic. So they have the experience. So they know what they're doing in horizontal, so they just switch it to vertical, but they are pretty damn good and stuff like that. And I had a conversation a while ago with Anton Skripets from AMO Pictures, and he said, even, for example, the budget is not high enough. It still have to look cinematic.
Yes.
And they're doing really such a great job, and especially, for example, in Ukraine, the location they choose.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And maybe you've seen it. I wanted actually to ask what is the difference between shooting for an American team and for an Ukrainian team, but you already mentioned it.
Sure.
But did you see a difference between the scripts?
So this script originated from a Chinese source. So I knew that we were in for some of this similar high drama, maybe a little bit broken in the English, the way it's written. However, it was right on par with the other verticals that I've seen. So I think that, in terms of language, if the American actors decided that a line didn't quite sound right grammatically, we couldn't exactly seek counsel from our Ukrainian director, because he's not really sure what that grammar is supposed to look like. So he did a lot of deferring to us in terms of, like, does this sound natural? Are you able to make this sound natural? Because one thing that was pretty interesting is that to be efficient amongst themselves on the crew, speaking about setting up the next shot, they would just speak rapidly in Ukrainian. So for us actors, us American actors who can't understand what they're saying, it's almost a blessing in disguise, because as an actor, you should just shut up. It's your job is to say the lines when you're supposed to talk. But if you are asking too many questions, if you're trying to help move the extension cord, no. You're just in somebody's way. So to not understand what they were planning was actually better for me because I am just supposed to focus on my own job, and that was good. But at the same time, like they were, you know, I just want to speak about them as a people. From essentially my first exposure to a group of Ukrainians. And let me tell you this, they were every single one of them had been affected by this war, been affected by the problems in Kiev, the heartbreak all around them in their country. And yet they were here in Los Angeles, incredibly grateful, incredibly disciplined and hardworking. And it was clear that that was just a part of their ethos in terms of just putting their head down and working hard. And I can only imagine under whatever circumstances they came from to do that. And so any chance to be joyous and to laugh, you know, I feel like there's a stereotype of like the Eastern European, you know, cold hardened face, you know, a serious face. And that was true. They had that, but check this out. Like it's a wonderful thing to have as like a focused protection of what you're doing, but everybody is able to joke, and they are way funny because it's like this dry humor from the Ukrainians. So, I mean, you couldn't help but fall in love with it. I mean, I spoke, and maybe I spoke to Kathy Mills about this, but I think we all loved Polina so much. She was our makeup lady.
Yeah.
Very talented in the first place. But what I loved is, you know, I had like a you know, pimple on my neck or something, and she would come up and she says, "Who is this? Who is this?" You know, she personified it because she meant "what is this?" But you know, to get confused on the who, what, when, or why. So it was always so cute. It was always the source of like, that's so funny.
You only can love them, yeah.
Yes, and so I don't know. I was saying it on set. We as a cast, we had an interview recently as well, and we all agreed. It was Sunny. Yes, we just all agreed that this culture was so incredibly lovable, and there was no victims among them. They were taking matters into their own hands. They were pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, and maybe that's very American of me to say, but there was a lot to be admired about the Ukrainian people.
That's why I fell in love with them.
Yes.
And we talked about Sunny. She is a vertical world girl.
Yes.
I will tag her in the description. No, she's doing such a great job as well. And you only can fall in love with these people because it's something special. I can't explain it.
Yeah. There's a warmth and a sense of responsibility and a sense of community. And yeah, at one point, Alexi, our DP, had a lit cigarette behind the camera, and I was like, "That is so European. That is so cool, man." And just yeah.
I figured out too, because often I don't watch only Ukrainian verticals. I watch the verticals from all the world, and you managed in this vertical while you were cheating on your wife Isabella, and you were close to do the act. You managed to open your pants and get rid of it.
Yes.
In many verticals, you see they starting the act and both are fully dressed, and I said, "What the heck?"
Right. Yes. Yes.
So those are the small details.
Yes. No, it was. I remember we had an intimacy scene to do, Rebecca and I, and everybody was sort of, you know, you got to have a lockdown set. You have to have the intimacy coordinator. And we're a little concerned because in the script it is quite graphic, you know, how this is going to happen, because we are doing the act, and they wanted to make it very clear that they didn't want it to look like I was wearing any pants or anything. Now they shot it so that the lower half of my body is below the couch. And I actually do have pants on, and
yeah, but
everybody was
you
cool.
were sitting first on the couch, and you opened your pants,
and it looked like I opened them. Yep, I was ready to go, and I was like, "Oh,
at least
man,
you did that." Usually, the men always don't do anything. They don't open the zipper or anything.
Yes,
and they just going for it, and so it's not it's not believable.
Not believable. Yes.
Just
Our director.
Small things, and
Yes.
And it's necessary to do something like that.
To sell what's about to happen. And that scene turned into quite it was such a fun scene because she comes in with the baseball bat. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but that turns into a big comedy scene.
I mean, she came in because she knew what's going on, and you and Isabella being so dumb that you believe. Oh, I thought you were someone who break in.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
She didn't see what you guys were doing.
I know that she plays dumb and everybody's playing dumb. That one felt the most like a play. Doing theater my whole life, that really felt like a play because all of the action was taking place moving towards the couch and the fireplace, and then you came in for these side angles, but nothing was around the back. You couldn't see things. I was playing to an audience, and I got to do the oh you're home, just kind of be a little funny. It's always nice when, and I think vertical villains have the most opportunity for humor in their character. And whenever there's an opportunity, I talk to the director about making this funny. Can I please make this funny? Can we please disparage my character in some fashion? Can he get his comeuppance in some way, or just be kind of goofy? I have a lot of fun doing that.
And always the subject of the illness of Isabella, PTHL.
Yes.
I know it's a fictional sickness, but...
Right. But what's up with that? I'll tell you, I think that I can be honest and in this interview. The original script had the disease as HIV, as AIDS, which, would read, a lot more, people would understand what that is. However, this was a foreign written script and from likely a country with different sensibilities about talking about that subject. And so I remember I received the script a week beforehand, and I'm reading it and I said, I think this is going to be problematic. I really don't see, this is bordering on shaming those with an HIV diagnosis. And it's also making it seem like it's truly an epidemic problem that is 100% deadly, which is not what HIV is anymore. It is very controllable. It is not something to be stigmatized in that way. So I said, look, I reached out to my agents and I asked them to reach out to production and hopefully just change this to a different disease or the bubonic plague or something, because it's supposed to be deadly and it's sexually transmitted. This can be a lot of different things, but I understand maybe in a different country it'd be okay to say AIDS. It's really not here. We don't want to do that.
This was a lot of subjects where people can get triggered a lot.
Indeed, yes, and unnecessarily.
And most of the fans somehow suffering some things like chronic illnesses, abusive relationships, miscarriages, and so on. And if you always have subjects like that, it's triggering.
Yes.
And that's why I think it's necessary that if they need to use those scenes in a vertical, they should put in trigger warning. Because like I always mention, we have the year 2025. And there's a couple in the vertical. They're getting intimate the first time and she's pregnant.
Right.
Did they never heard something about protection? Because I think even verticals, even if it's just an entertainment, should be somehow a little bit educational.
Right.
To say, hey, sure, you can have a one-night stand. You can having sex with someone real quick, but at least know how to prevent it.
Yes.
And it's not a problem. And then in many verticals, not from Ukraine, but from worldwide, the lady's getting pregnant, and not just with one child. No, with 2, with 3, with 4, with 5. And I said, what the heck? And then the story is going on, and on the end, she's becoming pregnant again. And then you won't believe it, she's getting pregnant again with multiple kids, and even more than she had before. There are so many couples out there in the world who trying so badly to become parents, and they have a problem. And then you see a vertical, and they just doing like that, and they are pregnant.
Yeah,
they should be more aware of it.
Right. Yes, and I understand that the subject matter of verticals cuts to our most like caveman style of reaction. We are dealing with matters of of the heart, cheating, pregnancy, murder, these things that are existentially problematic for humanity. Because we have these short episodes, they want you to leave one of those episodes with a gasp in your chest because it's something that you need to come back to, or you need to get to the next one. And I understand that. But I believe that the exact same result could be achieved with slightly less inflammatory subject matter. We can still raise the stakes, but it doesn't have to be life or death every time. It doesn't have to be a tragic miscarriage or domestic abuse. It doesn't have to be these things to have the same intrigue by your audience. I believe it's just going to have to be a little bit smarter. We're just going to have to put a little bit more elbow grease into the scripts, just because I do believe that it's a net negative to have somebody being triggered, or especially when you're opening it up into just very dark subjects. You want to be able to handle those with care. And so especially when I'm on set, I intend to handle those subjects with care. I understand we have to tell a story and we have to get people's chests beating, but we don't have to be so dark. That's my position.
I know that the fan community worldwide always say we don't want violence in the verticals no more, and I must say there need to be a little bit of violence, but in a different way. Because if you watch, for example, a mafia storyline, you can't imagine that everything is all lovable and there's no threat or no violence in it, because then you don't need a mafia movie,
Yes.
So there need to be something, but show it in a different way. They can do it that they don't always be so abusive against females.
Right.
We need more female leads who are strong, who are powerful, and even maybe if there need to be violence, she should hit back and not just a slap.
Right. I concur, and I think I'm waiting to see that. That's where I think is that the American sensibilities regarding domestic violence, and perhaps we're not addressing our own reality or our own problem, or we're burying it or sweeping it under the rug potentially. However, I don't want verticals to be the thing that normalizes it or makes it seem like this is what powerful CEOs do. They abuse people. I don't. And here's the thing, Bianca, I'm being cast as these often because I'm good at the smoldering and I'm good at this, but I am really starting to open my mouth about, hey, we don't need to do this. What do you think? So, because I know that we can create the exact same thing. And hopefully, I've been slapped by a few women in verticals. Power to them. But how about like a full-blown kick to the head? How about some Krav Maga? I'm ready to do. I'm ready to go full stunt.
I'm all about it.
Yes.
No, but does it happen once if you have a scene like that someone hit you by mistake? Because even if you have the close-ups from a slap, if a female is slapping you, I don't think she's stopping here and just don't touch you. I mean,
there are different sensibilities from different directors and different production companies and different stunt coordinators. It is generally agreed upon that nobody should be getting hit at any time. There's a lot of ways to get hurt in that situation, but there are some exceptions when everybody agrees. And this did happen in Deadly Trap, where I think we're outside of the hospital, and our director requested if we're okay with it, or as he would say, if it's comfortable for you, to have her make contact because we were going to be in the close-up. And I'm totally cool. I trust Rebecca, absolutely. But everybody should agree that we're going to get hit, because just we were discussing about Krav Maga and hitting the ears. That's a pretty dangerous place. Now, I can get hit on the face with very little concern. I'll be a little red. But like, if you miss and hit me in the ear, and now I got to pop the eardrum, that's
you talked about that before we started the interview, that for some people, maybe in America, maybe not, but in Europe, they know the actor Bud Spencer. And in Krav Maga, you have 2 memorial hits. Because Bud Spencer always hit his enemies in the movies on the ears and on the head.
Yes.
So you don't need much power to hit someone on the ear. So it's to get big to travel there. That's why we were talking about it. I used to do Krav Maga.
Okay.
That's a fight sport or a defensive
I'm
sport.
familiar. Yeah, I've taken some lessons myself in Krav Maga.
It's amazing because it's a defensive fight sport. In the most fight sport, you defending yourself with a fist. But in Krav Maga, you doing it like, hey, leave me alone. Leave me alone. And if the other one don't want to hear it, you can go on.
Well, and going on, by the way, from my few lessons in Krav Maga, it was some of the most ruthless martial arts. And they had moves. It was sort of like, grab them by the hair here and then drop the hammer. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was pretty entertaining. Very theatrical, very cinematic style.
Actually, I don't know if you know him in America, but it's a legend, Bud Spencer, the actor. It's a huge teddy bear with a beard, and he's actually Italian. But let's say this way, we have some in Krav Maga. You have 6 stands, 6 hits, and 6 kicks. And we have 2 hits, where I always say it's a Bud Spencer memorial hit, because in his movies, if he had fight scenes, he always hit against the ears, and then he hit on the head. We have there a hit, so it's against the ear, and you don't have much power for it, because if you hit here, you get in your ears.
Yes.
And then you can take your fist, put it here, here, or here. Always say it's a Bud Spencer memorial hit.
Yes, yes. No, I was amazed at it was sort of like, oh, I thought martial arts was this very. No, if with Krav Maga, it's like wherever you can hit, go ahead and do it. And it's sort of like not everything has to be in boxing format. You hit from the side or all these other things. Well, shoot, I wouldn't want to mess with you, Bianca. I'll try to be. I'm not going to upset you during this interview.
No, I didn't do it in a while, but while I lived in Berlin, beside my main job, I've been a bouncer.
Oh, really? Yes.
So I started learning this because I wanted to be aware if something happening that I can defend myself. And I mean my male colleagues, because if I been on shift, I was the only female, and the rest colleagues been, I guess, 4 to 6 guys who worked with me. They would never let me fight. They always would push me in the second row. Even if I complaining, they would push me, but I need to be aware how to do it, and because ladies are the worst if they are drunk. I can tell you. And but we train it, and we had Oktoberfest in this location as well, and it's a high risk event because of much alcohol. We trained low kicks. And my coach, and he was also my boss in this business. He had 2 on each shin bone. He had 2 protectors, but he kicked me, and I felt like John Wayne while walking for the next 2 weeks. Because he kicked so bad, but I needed to feel it, because I can say, hold on, don't kick me so hard. I'm a lady. I had to be aware of it. And I mean, I was wondering myself when we practiced it that I even could kick to the head.
What you just described sounds like the plot of a new Vertical, where a stunning young beauty becomes a bouncer at a nightclub, but Oktoberfest is coming up, and she needs to train Krav Maga to annihilate the enemy. This sounds like it's already.
We need more powerful ladies on screen.
I agree. More ass kicking would be nice. Yes.
And believe me, if I see all the fight scenes, I always say, call me. I want to be in there.
Sure. Yes. I just came off set with a stunt where I had to tackle a guy, spear him right into a pile of Christmas presents. And that I've done plenty of stunts. I've been hit many times in these verticals. Playing the villain, you're going to get hit. But this one was the most involved. This was very, and so when we were practicing, there was sort of like
find the right position where to grab him.
That's exactly it. And I had the wrong position one time, and my head went straight into his rib cage as opposed to around the side, and I got jammed up.
Yeah.
And I had to pretend that I was okay. Everybody's asking me, Tyler, are you okay? I said, oh, totally. I was definitely not okay. But we proceeded, and during the actual action, you have so much adrenaline going on that you can't feel anything. It's just so fun. You can't wait to do it again and again. So that was an example of, okay, you're 38 now. You need to stretch before these stunts.
But for example, if we practice, how to arrest someone, because being full protected, I had a bulletproof vest on. I had my belt with my handcuffs on it. Because in Berlin, you have sometimes a problem that the guests coming with knives and weapons and try to get in there. Yeah. And especially if you have some biker clubs who are there, and so you have to be careful. And since I'm so over flexible, I always been the dummy in training when our coach showed everyone how to arrest someone, because you could.
Oh wow, that's so easy for you. Gosh.
You can put my hands here for 5 minutes, then it's getting uncomfortable, but it's not hurting.
Sure. Wow.
And it's I don't know, even if I'm getting old, this is still happening. And for example, if you have some stretching lesson, most people do this and they can't go further.
Right.
But I don't feel any stretch here. My stretch starts slowly here, but then it's just in the way.
Yeah. I wish I was as flexible as you. That would really help me out. That would really tone down a lot of my pain. Bianca, I can wake up in the morning, I can feel fine, and then I can pick a coffee mug off of the coffee table and become paralyzed. That's how my body works.
Good.
For 2 days, I'll be paralyzed, and somebody will be like, what happened? What did you do? I said, I picked up my coffee cup.
But hey, I feel you there, because I believe that's hard to hit the right spot.
Yes, and I think that is basically the concern among stunt coordinators, is that everybody's okay with getting hit, or if everybody's okay with getting hit, you still want to be comfortable. So I also have an example of a couple projects ago, one entitled Queen of Hearts, where I was working with the beautiful Mariah Boone, and she was I'm chasing after her. I have a bone to pick with her, but she turns around and hits me with her purse hard. And that one landed. And the stunt coordinator said, hey, we can't really get around this. You're going to have to get hit with the purse because they're going to do it in slow motion. He goes, it shouldn't be a problem, but you will probably have some ringing in your ears. And I was thinking, I don't know, how does he know that I'm going to have ringing in my ears? But no, I took that purse to the head, I hit the deck, and I went to the ground, and my ears were ringing for 15 seconds. And I am ready and willing. I want to be a team player, but I think that any stunt coordinator on set is going to really oppose any actual contact. They're professionals, and they basically are thinking, if you want to make contact, you do it on a stunt man. And yes, on Deadly Trap, we had a stunt man come in for me to get hit over the head with a vase, to have a vase smashed on his head, and a couple other things. And the same stunt guy played both of the women, had to wear the dresses, get thrown off the building, get his ass kicked in a hospital room, be thrown out of a hospital door. Big props to these stunt guys. That's another thing I want to say. They are definitely fearless. Yeah, incredible.
I love that. I always, if I watch fight scenes, I always say, call me. I want to be there. I want to do that too. No, I love that. And I guess it's even necessary, even if many actors say, hey, I'm doing my own stunts. But just remember, if you shoot something like that on day 2 and you have 6 more days to go and you hurt yourself during the stunt, who is taking your role? Yeah. So sometimes it's better to have a stunt man or stunt woman who's doing your job.
Yes, and I used to think that I would be one of these guys. Let me do my own stunts. I want to do it. And there's some things that if I'm flying through the air and landing on a pad, then yes, I probably would want to do that. But in terms of man-to-man contact, and I spoke to you about, I recently had to tackle a guy, and if your head is not in the right place, yes, you risk injury, and maybe not a very serious hospitalizing injury. Yeah. But if I'm walking around with a stiff neck for the next 5 days of this shoot, that's going to be a problem for everybody, and I can't do the job that I'm supposed to. So and look, let's give stunt guys the jobs that they deserve to have, because
and they should get good money for it, because they risk their lives sometimes.
Yes, they're legit. They're acting. They're taking a hit. When you take a hit to the chin, an actor has to work with the stunt coordinator to make that look regular, because your head kind of bobs, but these stunt guys know exactly how to make it look, and they know where the camera is to, you're going to miss by 2 inches on the chin, but they're going to really sell it.
And I guess the stuntmen even have some protection for the teeth. It's not really a protection for the teeth. It's just to bite on something, so your brain don't get shaken too much.
Sure,
That's why you wear those mouth protections during American football games and so on. It's not because of the teeth, more that the brain don't get shaken too much and you get a concussion.
Interesting. Okay, shoot. On this last stunt that I had, the stunt guy came through, I had elbows and knees all protected, and you feel a lot better with all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
But no mouth guard for me. They had to see these pretty teeth.
I mean, that mostly people forget that during sport the protection is necessary. And while we're talking about fight sport, males have always some protection on their private parts, but females as well. Different, but we need that too, because I had it once in a practice that someone kicked me in my private part. Didn't want my protection this day, because it was actually someone who tested to Krav Maga to think about if she want to join us or not. And usually, if you are new to a fight sport, you are afraid to kick, to hit. And she kicked me so much. Oh, I had a bruise for weeks. I can tell you, it's necessary.
Oh my gosh. Maybe she just came to audit a Krav Maga class to get her anger out on one day, and then she was good. You took all of her anger in one go. Wow. that must be. But I always looked bad, because I'm getting really quick bruises. And at this time, just to tell a story out of my life, my main job was an assistant on a construction site of 21,000 square feet. And we've been 2 females on the construction site. So I've been the project assistant to the whole thing. We've been 2 females and 90 guys. And because I went twice a week to my Krav Maga training, and my training partners were holding me on the arms, and so you could see the handprints. Bruce.
And they thought I have to at home a boyfriend or a husband who's doing domestic violence, and they wanted with me to beat him up, and I said, no, it's fine. I'm freshening those bruises up twice a week, so it's all fine.
Yeah, I'm staying bruised up. Wow, that's great. That is so great that you did that stuff, because it's also what I learned from doing some of my own stunts is that impact, or like the act of fighting with somebody, it triggers a youthful thing in you. Like we as adults, we very rarely, if we're not football players or American football players, you're not taking impact like that. But when you do, it kind of rocks you, and it makes you alert, and it kind of wakes you up. And you're going to be sore and you're going to hurt, but you kind of feel alive. I don't know what I'm saying here. I don't think it's masochism, but getting hit every once in a while it might be good for us.
That was the first part of the Magic Behind Ukrainian Actors featuring Tyler Crosby. Since Tyler and myself had so much to talk about, we decided to split this interview and make 2 parts out of it. Stay tuned for the second part. And if you don't want to miss out, just subscribe to this YouTube channel, maybe leave a like and a comment, and we will see you soon.